You guys.
Yeah, good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Yeah, welcome to the Motion Magic with Flutter.
What do you mean motion magic? Is it a new thing?
No, it is just animations.
Oh, okay. So, what are we going to learn today, Kasun?
Yeah, in this session, we are going to dive into when and how to use animations, and also look into the basic animations that Flutter framework itself has. And we'll recommend some third-party libraries that we have used in our own projects. And also, finally, we will go through Live Studio and how we can use custom animation in your applications.
Wow, that sounds really exciting. Especially the last one. Seems quite useful for UI UX engineers.
No, yes. Not only UI UX engineers. If you have good UI sense, you can create your own custom animations and apply it.
Well, sadly, I can't even match colors on a good day. So, I hope we can create something for today's speaker. Anyways, let's start motioning.
Yeah. So let's move to our slides. So yeah, why we are using animations? So the main point is enhance user experience. The animation makes apps more attractive, and they bring app to the life, making it more interesting and fun to see. So when the app has cool animation, it grabs our attention and tend to enjoy using it, and more end up with spending time on it. And the other one is visual feedback for process comprehension. We can use animation to show process like downloading, transferring file, and progressing this way. User can see how much longer they need to wait to finish. So when users watch that animation, they don't feel like it's taking too much long because it's keep their attention. And the other one is time and the navigation. So animation also help provide smooth transition in between screens. It helps users to understand the relationship between different part of the applications.
What do you mean?
Let's see. Yeah, in here, how gift sending process is divided step by step, like shows animation on how each step is supposed to work.
Okay. I see what you mean. So as a user, I can sense what is happening on each step of this process.
Yep. So other thing is story and brand. So animation can be used to tell stories and convey the brand identity. Through the unique animation, apps can express their personality.
I know what you mean. Like I saw this really cool dribble animation idea from someone. He had done this for something for this McDonald's logo. So can you see like how the burger is like coming down and just flips to the other side and it makes an M?
Yeah.
I think that's a very unique idea of branding.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is very good example of animation used for the brand. And so now let's move to the other common animation scenarios when it gets used. Yeah, so typically we are using animation for these scenarios: loading indicators, transition, provide visual feedback for user actions, onboarding, empty status, success status, and the rest. But we will go more into this a little later. But I need to talk like when we think about adding animation to the applications, we often want to make it attack as much as possible. So, but be careful, it can be backfire. Like too many animations can slow your app down if it is not well optimized. So that can cause something we call jank, right, Anya?
Yes, exactly. So in Flutter world, jank is what we usually call it when you see some sort of a lag happening in the application. So that's occurring when Flutter decides to just skip some rendering frames because it's taking too long. So this can actually be to many reasons. It can be like expensive processors or widgets or any unnecessary rebuilds that is happening. So fixing janks, it's not as straightforward as seeing it happen on action because it involves a lot of restructuring your code.
Yeah.
So we'll try to explore more when we are coding, right? So all in all, while animations can make an app look great, it's very important to balance them so that they don't hurt the app's performance, right?
Yep. Okay, enough chit chat. Let's do some animations.
Let's go for it. All right, so let's take a look at.
Hope you can see our code base.
Yes, so let's take a look at how this is. What the app is going to be for today's speaker. So we have a small movie application with a couple of onboarding screens, right?
Cool.
And then we have a loading animator, and we get a list of movies from an API. And once we click on movie, we can go to the details and add it your favorites. Yes. So also we have this profile mini view, which you can also expand it to, and you can see your favorite list that you just added.
Yeah.
And you can remove them as well, right? So let's actually see how this will work.
Yep.
Let's try to add some animations to this now. So
Yep.
you may have seen the circular progress indicator, right? So I think that's a very good starting point we can work on. I want to use a better loading indicator, Kasun. Any idea for that?
Yeah, I saw some cool diggle animation, right? Let's do it. Yeah, here, this is the GIF animation.
Okay, that looks really good, I have to say. But can we actually code that right now within just 1 hour?
Yeah, that's the thing. One of the easiest way to use animation in the applications by using GIF or videos. So you can just use the same GIF in our application just as image. Let's do it. Oh. Yeah. Yep. So we have integrated our GIF loader into our application. We go through the GIF loader. Yeah, so I have loaded the GIF as an image in here. So it is separate widget. So let's try it out. Here you can see that GIF.
That was easier than I thought.
Yeah, but I told it this poor man. So shall we look at some inbuilt animation widget in Flutter? So I'm thinking to about how hero widget.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, the hero widget is a cool feature that creates a smooth flying animation from one screen to another. Look really cool and connected, kind of like a superhero flying from one place to another. So which is called by hero widget. So all you need to work with the hero widget is adding a tag. Let's do it. So I'm gonna add hero widget to this main logo. I'm going to add a tag, something called hero. Yeah, I'm going to add another hero widget that is fine to onboarding screen here. Let's try it out. Here, this is the logo. To fly over to the top in the onboarding screen. That's how hero widget works.
That's very cool. So, Kasun, what if we use the same tag in more than one widget?
Tag is supposed to be unique in hero widget. If you accidentally use the same tag on one more than other hero widget, it's going to get confused and throw error. So make sure each hero widget has its own unique tag. Let's try it out in our application. So we have a grid, and I'm going to give hero widget one of the grid item. Yeah, this is the grid item we have. I give a tag as icon. So now I'm going to wrap this widget with the hero. Same icon. Name. Yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, now I'm trying to click this one. So it will get error. So there are multiple heroes that share the same tag within the subtree.
Yeah, I think that's because we are using the same tag, and
Yep.
that's being used in all
In
the
the
grid
grid.
items, right?
Yeah. So we have to give a unique tag for the every hero widget. So let's write a unique tag in here. So in our case, poster path is unique one. Let's see. Now it should work.
Fingers crossed.
Now I'm going to click this hero widget, the grid item. Yeah, it's flying over to here. Let's see here.
Nice.
Yeah, that is all about the hero widget. So we'll get some other widget. Yeah, let's look another built-in widget that provides animation out of the box. It is called animated containers. I'm pretty sure you all use container line. Yeah, so this is almost same thing, but it can change its properties like size, sharp, color, even house position with all cool animations. When something changes its properties, let's say we are going to change the height from 100 to 200, the animated content smoothly transition from starting loop to ending loop. Yeah, let's try it out. Here, I'm going to change this container with the animated container. So animated container need to give a duration. Let's see how it's work. This is the model we have applied the animated container. When the button press, it it goes to all the speed, and when the button press again, it goes to the previous model. So when the button press, it's transitioned from one state to another, like changing size, color. Basically, we have two tile widgets in here. So based on the Boolean value, and when the Boolean value change, it shows smooth transition in between tile widgets.
I see. So we are changing the expanded Boolean, and we are
Yep.
changing all the heights, widths, and colors, and the child
Yeah,
itself.
based on the Boolean value, all the properties change.
And I think the better part, the good part of this is like we are not doing anything new. We are just using like we are not doing any custom animation. It's just using the animated container
Yes.
itself.
Yes, that's why it's giving some out of box scenarios. Yeah, so let's have another one, animated list. With the animated lists, whenever you add a new item to the list or remove one, you can animate these changes with slide in or out. You can apply any transitions animation if you like. So in the animation list, doesn't automatically show any animations. The cool animation happened when you add or remove item from the list. So at the start, it's just like another list, but the fun begins when you start interacting with it.
Okay, I see. So it's just another list, but it's only when you are adding or removing that we see the transition.
Yes, yes. Let's check in here. Yes, so we have integrated the animated list as well. So in this list, we have favorite file. So in here, we have animated list remove method. So in the remove item method, so we have two parameters and the index of the remove item and the builder. So we pass the as animator as a builder. So in here, we use size transition. Let's check out how it's work. Yeah, I need to add some favorite item first. Here we have the animated list. I'm gonna remove one item from the list. Yeah, see, so it's removed and reduce the size. So next, I think we can change some other transitions. Let's see how it works. Let me add item first. Here, I'm going to remove the item. Here you can see scale down and remove it. That's how it works. Yeah, with that, our profile model looks fancy, you know. Yeah, do you know a good way to improve this model? Open and close thing, Rangana. Like I hate seeing the same pop-up animation every time.
Yeah, let's go for it. I mean, Flutter actually makes this quite easier. So, but let's actually see what's happening here first. So when we open up the profile, the pop-up, can you see like it just appears? But this is actually the default animation.
Yeah.
So Flutter actually has some default animations when you page transition or when you open up modals or pop-ups. And this is basically from it will differ from Android or iOS.
Yeah.
And the best part is Flutter actually introduces a way that we can control this. So most of you might have seen, if you're using Flutter, things like transition duration and the transition builder. When it comes to things like show general dialog, or if you want to navigate a page, when in the navigator.off method, you might see these sort of builders. So what this basically does is it first controls the transition duration, and it also allows us to create our own animation here. And you might have like seen like there are some weird words over here, particularly tween.
Yeah, what is that tween?
So it's going to be really something that you hear quite often when you're doing custom animations. And what it basically means is having a linear interpolation between these begin and end values. And if you chain it with a curve, so a curve, these are pre-built cubes. If you're good at maths, you can build your own, or you can just choose one of the pre-built methods in Flutter, right? So if you chain this with a curve, what that does is instead of linearly extrapolating it, you can control the animation speeds as a cube itself, right? And when you combine it with a transition and drive with the animation that you have from the transition builder, you can have your own thing. So let's try it out with this scale transition first.
Oh,
yeah. Can you see that how the pop-up is appearing now?
Scale up.
Like scaling up from the middle, from 0% to 100%. And also the reverse, when you close it, it's also the exact reverse of the animation, right? And we can also, the nice part of having transitions is we can chain more transitions into it. Like say for an example, I just don't want just to have a scale transition. I also want the pop-up to come from somewhere else.
Okay.
Like I want the pop-up to come back from the left side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create another tween but this time it's gonna be an offset tween, right? So I'm gonna have this particular offset, which means it's gonna be from the left side of the screen. and it's going to end at the exact 0. That's going to be the middle of the screen, right?
Yeah.
So let's add a new transition over here. I'm going to call it slide transition, and the position is going to be the animation driven by offsetting.
Yeah.
So now can you feel it?
Now it's coming from left.
It's coming from the left, and it's also keeping the scale transition active as well. So
Yeah.
it's scaling while it's moving from the left. Right?
There are two transitions.
Exactly. So now that we have touched upon these tweens and animations, I think we can experiment a little bit more now with truly custom animations. But first, we need to add one more definition into our memory.
You mean animation controller?
Exactly. So just as the name suggests, animation controller controls the animation.
Yeah.
So we can play, stop, repeat, just go back, or whatever you want, right? So let's first see how that controller is used, and we can see this in a very simple widget. So first, I'll show you the animation. Like so, when I tap on this hamburger button, you can see that it's directly changing into a close button and flips it again into the hamburger button, right? So how I'm achieving that is by using something called animated icon. Animated icon is an inbuilt Flutter widget which has more animated icons where these are inbuilt stuff. And you have like a primary and a secondary which you can switch with. Right? So in this case, I'm using menu close option. And what it needs is an animation controller. So it's a basic animation controller, no funny stuff anywhere. It's just a duration, that's it. But how do we do this? On a state change, we just make the controller go forward or go reverse. That's it. So in this case, I've used it for the on drawer change. So when the drawer opens, I will make the animation go forward, and when it's closed, reverse. Simple, right?
Yeah. It's very simple.
All right. So combining all three of these then, tweens, animations, and animation controllers, we can create our own things.
Yeah.
So let's try touching up our onboarding screen, maybe with this. How about maybe an opacity changing fading transition, maybe?
Yeah, let's try it now. So I have something right here inspiring from YouTube video. Let's see it how it works.
I think it works good, right?
Yeah, it's like a charm.
Nice. YouTube coming for us. But let's actually go through the code and see how this is going to work. So we see there's an animation controller with an animation that's also with a curve as well. And what is this? It's adding a listener, rebuilding the opacity, and we are actually using the opacity widget and changing this opacity value on set state. And this is rebuilding the opacity when the animation is listening, right?
Yeah.
I think there's something funny with this code. Shall we check out how the widgets are being rebuilt?
What we are trying to do in here, like see how the widgets are being rebuilt, Stronger?
Exactly. So we are actually trying to see whether this is actually one of the most common reasons for Janks, right? So by removing these sort of unnecessary rebuilds, we can improve our animation performance, right? So if you pay attention here, so in this case, this image.asset here, right? So when I switch this, can you see that it's 80 now? Now it's 120. So it's almost 40 rebuilds. Let's see, it's on the current screen. This widget is being rebuilt almost 40 times for every single swipe I make, right? And I think we're actually lucky that we don't have a jank here because it's a very simple child element here. So otherwise we would have seen like if this was a heavy widget, we would have definitely some sort of a jank.
Definitely. How do you fix this?
So actually Flutter fixes this with something we call the build pattern, right?
Yeah.
So most of the Flutter widgets that we have deals with builders, it has this cool property called child property, right? And when we use this child property, we can reuse that child without it being rebuilt many of the times, um, and reduce that rebuild count, right? So in this case, what we are going to use is what we call as the animated build. So you can see from the top, like nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is we're using the animated builder where we get a default child property here, right? And the rebuilder, instead of using the set state, this is exactly what the set state is doing as well, though. Yeah. But in this case, we have this access to child property where we already defined that the child is going to be the image asset. So while the opacity is being changed, the child will remain the same. So let's see how this has affected the performance. So in this case, now this is the image, right? So it's almost like four, six, yeah. That's a one, another one. It's like it's either going to be a two or a one. So that's like a really good performance improvement from 40 to just one rebuild, right?
Yeah, of course. In this particular case, like we don't need any control at all, since our animation is always run again in the single tween. So and there are other widgets in Flutter that we can do exactly what we do here, purely a line of code. So all of them has been some pre-built stacks what we improved.
Yes, exactly. So I think what you're trying to say about is the Tween Animation Builder, if I'm not mistaken. So on Tween Animation Builder, can you say like that we are doing the exact same thing with less amount of code now here. So it also has the child builder property. So all the performance stats remain the same, but it's just less amount of code. And like you said, since we don't need the control because it's just one time playing animation, yeah, and it's also a single tween, so we don't need a lot of code like that earlier, stateful widgets to do this. And another thing to mention is like Flutter documentation states that opacity is an expensive widget. So we should always try to limit our usages of it. And you can go through the documentation and see why it's being called an expensive widget. So some good alternatives are to use some color filters, maybe with a blend mode, or even the fade transitions, right? So this is something you can explore. Like all Flutter widgets, there's always another way that you can do the same thing with maybe less amount of code, right?
Yep, Rangana, what do you think? Are we going to have some multiple animations at the same time?
Most definitely. So we usually call it a staggered animation in Flutter, right? So when multiple animations happen within different intervals, you can control it with the same animation controller, right? So I think I have the perfect test subject here. So if we go to the favorite button of the movie tab, right?
Yes.
Can you see like the heart is like it's
coming to middle?
Yeah.
And scale up and
exactly.
down.
So there's two animations happening at the same time. So let's see what is the code look like, right? So like you probably guess, there's a size animation and the offset animation as well. And the new part is then it's the interval, yeah, right? So here what it means is the size is gonna the animation is gonna start at 0% and goes up to 60% of this entire animation duration, right? And also the offset is gonna do the same thing within 0 to 20% of that time. And you can see both animations are being controlled by the same controller, right? And what we do is like on action, like we make the animation controller go forward and then reverse so that it goes back to the same state. So what you can see here is, can you see like offset is happening quite fast because the interval is small and the size is gaining up and down. It's a little bit slower than that. So this is a good idea how staggered animation works, because by defining different intervals, the animation will occur when that duration hits that exact period, right? So I guess all this time we have been talking about APIs available from Flutter framework itself. Yeah. So I think it's time to maybe look at the community ideas and some other packages that we usually use in our projects.
Yeah, let's discuss about the third-party packages. What we have. Yeah, let's see what we have. Yeah, animated test kit. What we have in animated test kit. So it is like adding magic to the words in your screens, like making a dance, picker, change colors. This can make you have more fun and eye-catching. So let's have a look about these. Uh, Here we have the animated test kit. So in here, this is the animation, flickering animation, flicker animated test. Let's see how it works. Here, see, it's flickering all the time.
Yeah, like a light bulb.
Let's see another one. Here, scale down and up all the time. So this is all about this animated test kit.
I think we can also control how it looks.
Yes, so we can give some repeat forever like a boolean value true or false. You can try it out. Yeah, the another one is yeah. There is another cool library. So it's cool library for Shima. You can see it is Shima. it is for loading screens and when you are waiting for stuff to load for APIs and it gives you the vibe that things are loading right away, like app is busy getting their content ready. So yeah.
I think I've definitely seen this on Facebook and YouTube. Like when the comments are loading, I've definitely seen this one.
Yeah, yes, users see a gentle animated shine that move across the placeholder element. Let's see in our code base. Yeah, so we also integrated that schema. Let's go to the schema grid. Here we have the schema grid. So in here we are loading a grid view and we creating placeholder that look like grid view and added schema to it. So in here we have grid view and also we created the custom tile for the grid item. Let's see how it works. Here you can see that schema. Let me run again. That is how schema works.
Okay, so I think it works the best when you have the exact placeholder like you want the content to be
Yes,
displayed. Right?
yes, exactly. Yeah, let's see another widget, another library. Yeah, it is staggered animations. So staggered animation are like adding a bit of suspense and surprise to your applications. Instead of everything popping up at all, things are uh, appear bit by bit. So, for example, imagine the list where which items appear one after another. So, with a little delay between each one, making the whole list like dynamic and interesting. So, let's have it in our code. Yes, so we have a staggered list. So, we have two animations in here. So, let me increase the duration, then you can see how it works. See, it's coming from the bottom to top. I'll play again. Yeah, that is how it works.
So I think we are using slide animation as well as fade animation.
Yeah, right? We can use multiple animations.
So what are the other available animations in this package built in?
It has like the fade in animation, the slide animation, and the scale animation, and also flip animations. Those are the packages. Those are the animations.
Yeah. Anyways, these are really cool examples from the community-driven packages. But I think it's all fun and games when it comes to animations until your lead says you're gonna have something like this in your app next time.
Oh.
But you know what? Even that's about to get easier.
No way.
Yes, wait. So with that, let's come to Rive. Rive is an editor we can use for developing custom animations, not only just Flutter apps, but also in other applications as well. So it's very easy to use if you're particularly you have a good UI UX sense.
Yeah, but not from me.
Uh, Debatable, but same here. Anyways, let's try creating something for our viewing audience. I think where can we try to first do this as a basic one?
Yeah, I think we can try creating better logo animation in the first, so it sound beginner level, no?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like,
Yeah, this one.
yeah, this one. So maybe like having a like a ripple going along this path.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah. See how we can do that in Rive. So this is how the Rive editor is going to look like. So if you are coming with a good background of maybe Adobe After Effects or Premiere or like us old timers, Flash maybe. So
Yeah.
you might have been used to this kind of looks. So basically you have a design tab and where you can add your assets here. So in this case, our logo here. And you have access to some shapes you can do and bones you can use for animations. And in this case, it's a very simple one. So what I've done is I've drawn a path along the line that I want, right? That was my first task. And then I created my cool ripple animation. You can see how good at color balancing am I.
Yeah.
Anyways, you can, like I said, you need to be some sort of have some good UI UX knowledge. That would make things much more easy, of course.
Yeah.
But since we are just beginners here, it's fine. You can try this on your own. And Rive is actually free for 3 yard booths, so you can start this out for free without any pricing. And yeah, so once you have this ripple going on, what I've done is I've added a constraint here. And what it does is it follows a path. So when I say I follow a path, I can give the exact path that I want it to follow, right? And this shape is, I've selected the shape, the path that I've stored. So it's gonna follow that path. And we can see on the animation tab, once I give the keyframes with the distance, I can see like when I play this, it will play the animation
line.
And also I can control how the animation is going to look like. Whether it's going to be like one shot animation or it's going to be ping pong. And I can control the interpolation with here, the same curves that we used earlier. And yeah, so let's see how this is being used in the Flutter code itself. So it's going to be a simple asset inclusion, just like we do for any other images or anything. And here, like, let's say, so there is the logo that we use. And in this case, I'm using riveanimation.asset here. And it's just another basic, almost like an image, right?
Yeah.
So now that I've used it, yeah, that's my cool ripple going on.
Yeah, it's really nice. Can we interact with the Rive animation from the Flutter?
Definitely. So that's like the full powered version of the Rive animation. And we can see like this example here from Rive. This is an example that you can freely download. You can see there's multiple animations happening here, like hands down. There's a hands up animation.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's other animation stuff here. But the biggest part is having the state machine accessing with inputs, right? So here there's this success and failure are like triggers, and hands up is a state where you can say it's a boolean. You can say hands up, hands down, and also you can pass in a value here that this is like the an offset that you can focus the bear's eyes on, right? And you can check on that particular spot or not. So let's actually see how this sort of a code is being used in a Flutter app. So I've integrated this in like a login form. So can you see like the bear is on idle animation now, and when I tap on the username, it it changes its focus right to the cursor, right? So when I tap on something outside, it just goes back, right?
Yeah.
And when I keep typing stuff, the buyer's eyes change.
Follows the line.
So how does it do it? So what we do here is like when the RAI file is imported, we get access to the control of that RAI file, and then we get some feedback to the triggers, right? So I showed there were a couple of triggers in the RAI the design. So like success, failure, hands input, the check input, the look input. So I when I on tapping on the form fields, I get this. Hands up input change and looking input change on the content length, and maybe on password click I make the hands up, hands input to true and hands down, and maybe on submit that's a button action, I ask the fail trigger, right? So on maybe like success I can pass the success trigger. So this is like a full powered drive animation, and I think with this sort of stuff, we can create really complex animations and make our app look much more beautiful. So I think we have covered up a lot of topics today on animations, isn't it, Kasun?
Yeah, so we have came to the end of this session. So let's see anyone from the audience have interaction from us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, you guys. That was super entertaining. I think we have some questions from our participants. Let's have a look. By the way, while we're waiting for some questions, happy birthday, Kasun.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing a fika on your actual birthday. We really appreciate it. So yeah, happy birthday to Kasun. So our first question is just coming in. I can see. Yeah, that last animation was super cool. Also, did you please head over to our socials so you can see Paul the polar bear in action? All right. So I have a question that's actually come in on Instagram, which is, are there any ways to improve widget? Sorry, I'll just pop it in the chat here. But are there any ways to improve widget rebuild count on animations?
Yeah, so we discussed about the animation build a child properly. And also you might have seen like we have tried to use a lot of const widgets. So const will improve the rebuild counts as well in a because Flutter will render it just once when you use const. So that will also affect a lot of rebuild counts as well. I think that I guess I I answered the question.
Yeah, it's the exact answer is that one. Yeah.
I've got one from LinkedIn, which was, sorry. How do you select the third-party libraries that deal with animations?
Yeah, so first you have to go to pubs tab, pubs dev, and you can see what are the available animation libraries in there. So then you can see the popularity. If it is popularity high, then see the then go to the GitHub and see the bug count and what are the bugs in there. So if it is good, then try it out and see the performance.
I think when it comes to animation related packages, the build performance is going to be highly impactful. So
that's right.
Make sure you actually use the animation and see whether whether it occurs any janks or not.
Awesome, thank you. Do we have any other questions from the audience today? Okay. So I've got a question from Abdul. As a beginner, how do I get a start in Flutter development?
Hmm, I'd say like Flutter is a very convenient language to use. Like you can actually the best way to learn is just follow the developer guideline steps, because in my opinion, like as a developer for 5 years, I've never seen such documentation as good as Flutter's.
Yes,
Like
very
you
good
can,
documentation.
there's a lot of code labs you can try, and you can start off quite easily. You don't need to have Android or iOS specific knowledge to start Flutter. I mean, it does get useful after a couple of years of using, but for starting up, I think the easiest way is to follow the developer guideline itself.
And also follow some YouTube video tutorials as well. It may help you.
Amazing. Do we have any other questions from the audience today? I'll give you guys a couple of minutes. How did, while we're waiting, how did you guys get started in Flutter?
So yeah, the first we have followed YouTube tutorials and the also Flutter documentation, and we started the sample project. Then we learned something when building it, and we gain our knowledge after that.
Yeah, I think for me, like it was back in university days when Flutter was in beta stage. Like I just want to try something out different, because I was pretty sure if I tried something on beta stage, none of the lecturers won't know it. So I'd get like that was how I intended it to first, and I mean it worked out good, I guess.
Amazing. Well, I think that we might be done with our Q&A today. Oh, sorry, I've got one more question. I can't see it. Beautiful. So we've got a question from Anna, which is, any big no-no animations to avoid, in your opinion?
What I've seen on Flutter is maybe with backdrop filters, like when the glossy animations and everything that is happening on top of maybe like linear gradients and everything, which is lying underneath, and then on top of it, like a very glossy animation, that's gonna slow everything down.
You should better avoid.
Yeah, that's something I've seen personally. But yeah, is there anything else you have seen?
I think that one you raise it, it's kind of similar to that. I also have experience.
I guess it must be tricky because there's so many animations available to you to not end up loading so many that it just like slows down and doesn't work. Jank, is that right? Is that right?
Got that one.
Well, thank you so much. That was incredibly entertaining and informative. Yes, Zamir loves the polar bear animation controller. This will be uploaded onto YouTube in the next couple of days. And Rangana and Kasun are tagged on all of our socials. So if you have any specific questions for them, or just want to tell them what a great job they did, or just want to wish Kasun happy birthday, feel free
You
to hit
again.
them up. Oh, sorry, we've got another one. Okay, one more for you guys. Is it necessary to have a good understanding of web development before starting out on Flutter?
To tell you the truth, I have minimal web understanding myself. So my guess is no.
Yeah, mine also, because we are into mobile development.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to start off, you don't need anything at all. I'd say like as long as you know a little bit of programming, you don't even need to be a master of programming as well, because you can learn on the go. It's just another new language.
You can try it out whatever you want. So you can try Flutter as well.
And also the cool thing about Flutter is like it can even build web applications as well. So
Yeah, and the desktop
yeah.
application.
So if you are on web development, try out Flutter as well.
It was a very long way of not saying yes or no, no?
I said this at the start as well. So no, no.
Okay, sorry, we've got questions coming on the Q&A tab and on the chat tab here, but I think that we might be done. Any more questions, guys? Yeah, you got a special kudos for your interactive techie session, guys. Well done. Okay, I think we might wind up. Thank you to all of you for joining and hope that you enjoyed this session. Thanks again to Kasun and Rangana, and thanks to Priya, who did the intro for the first time. Well done. This recording will be uploaded onto YouTube in the next couple of days. So follow us on all our socials and we'll be updating you when it's up there. But you can head over to our YouTube channel now and watch all of the features that we've done for the past year. Have a wonderful Thursday. I'll let the boys say goodbye.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Have fun animating.
And see you next month for our next speaker.